Okay, haven't done this in a long time. This is a Sugar Me Saturday for National Diabetes Awareness Month, aka November. All of November. Um, I wanted to do just kind of like my life as a type 1 diabetic. The ups, the downs, and just how I feel. So, those of you know, I was diagnosed November 12th, 1998. And I just celebrated my anniversary, 2 weeks ago? And I went through a lot. Like, anyone that says this is easy, it's not. It's not. It's a lot of work. Like, it takes a lot. And everyone's adjustment period is different. Mine was a couple of years, like a lot of years. And a lot of downs. Right after I was diagnosed, I got hit with diabetic nerve damage in my legs and feet, lost the ability to walk for almost a year. After that, I dealt with miscarriage after miscarriage after miscarriage. I think my total was about 6. And yeah, everyone keeps telling me, well, try again. You'll never know. And I'm just like, emotionally, like physically, I know I can rebound again. Emotionally, I'm not strong enough. Like, if, Lord forbid, I had another miscarriage, I am emotionally, mentally not strong enough to rebound from that. So I've been like, yeah, me having kids is not gonna happen. Then we have issues with jobs and things like that. When I was working, before I decided to become an actress and a dancer and all of that, I actually had a regular job, you know? But I had issues with jobs and things like that. Fought a job who didn't want to give me a promotion because they felt like me being a type 1 diabetic was going to be a problem and I would not be able to handle the responsibility. Even though my track record was so much better than everything the current people in that position held. My work was 1,000 times better, but because I was a type 1 diabetic, I was being denied this opportunity. Issues with waking up unconscious, waking up in the back of an ambulance. I was fortunate enough to have a couple of amazing bosses. Stan Schiller was an amazing boss. His wife he was type 2 and I am type 1, and he understood the dynamics of being a type 1 diabetic. So a lot of the times he worked with me. After the first couple of incidences where I woke up in the back of an ambulance and couldn't make it to work, he actually got me a laptop and a computer and everything like that. So if need be, I can still work from home. And this was long before COVID, where everybody was working from home. But he did that. So just in case a situation like that happens again, I was prepared and I was able to stay home and still work and still not lose hours and sick days and stuff like that. Then I decided to do that amazing thing called acting and modeling and all of that. Of course, I started dancing while I was in college, and I was competing and things like that while I finished college and moved on and things like that. So dancing was always there. The modeling transitioned into it right around the end of my senior year of college and things like that. While I was still working a regular full-time job, I was still transitioning into the modeling and acting just in case. I mean, it was just fun. I was having a blast, modeling and everything. It took me to LA, to New York, things like that. I was doing pageants and all of that. And one of the issues I've had was when I got on my insulin pump. I was being asked, do I have to wear it all the time? Couldn't I do something without the pump being seen? And then I got signed with an agency and everything, and there was a modeling gig that they loved my look, wanted me for, but unfortunately, my insulin pump was what they were not okay with. And they said it would cost too much to airbrush the pump out of the shoot. So therefore, I was not going to be cast. Yeah, I know everybody's screaming, oh my God, discrimination and everything. And that's exactly how I felt. But at the same time, I also felt, why did it have to be airbrushed out? It's just an insulin pump. I'm just a type 1 diabetic. Type 1 diabetics can't do other things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Lord forbid, there's a type 1 diabetic that's doing an ad for food or cooking or hair or makeup or whatever, you know? It's a simple ad. Why couldn't a type 1 diabetic be someone doing that? So I decided to start pushing being a type 1 diabetic and making sure it was very adamantly seen. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I had an independent film opportunity where the budget was like, it was still an indie, but it was a $500,000 indie. So I was excited, submitted photos, everything real, all of that. Piqued the interest of the writer and the producer and the executive producers, the people financing the film. I sent photos, and again, I've been a diabetic for so long, I don't even realize my photos have, like, you know, my devices and stuff are in it. Like, it's me, you know, I can't change that about me. And one of my photos, it was a beautiful photo. You guys have seen it. It was done by Deviant Desires. I sent the photo, and the producer and the director loved it, but the executive producers came back and said, what was that on my arm? And I was reached back out to via a phone call, not even email or text or anything. It was an actual phone call. And I had to tell them, I was like, oh, that's my insulin pump. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm a type 1 diabetic. You know, my website, everything puts it up front. You know, it's not hidden anywhere. And they were like, oh, so what does it do? I said, well, that delivers that beautiful, clear, life-saving medicine that keeps me alive, you know? And so he submitted all that information, let them know. And the executive producers actually came back and said, and you guys have seen me post this, they do not see how someone who wears an insulin pump could deliver the sexuality needed for the character that was being cast for. And I was turned down for that role. So a lot of you have seen all my photos since then. Hello, I am your scandalous type 1 diabetic. And it was intentionally because I don't understand why being a type 1 diabetic means I am not sexy, I am not beautiful, I am not alluring and charming. You know what I mean? Like, it just threw me for a complete loop that was their answer to that. And thus, that's what created the person that is here now. So, all of that to tell you that is what created the Anita Nicole Brown, aka Ebony Insulin, that is in existence today. Yes, the miscarriages and things like that, was hard, but I work with kids, you know, I teach kids, and they're my itty bitties. Sometimes they're my little demons, but they're still my kids. And if I was a mom, I wouldn't be able to dedicate all the time and energy that I do to the students that I teach, the students that I work with. So I feel like me not being able to have kids, that was the reason I wasn't able to have kids, because I needed to be there for all my students that require me. So that was a plus for me. That told me that there was a bigger purpose for me, and that's what I love. Acting and everything, oh my God, yes, I've been turned down for so many gigs. So many people have looked at my insulin pumps and been like, we can't do that. However, I've had several roles where my insulin pump was welcomed. It was not treated as a problem or as an issue that needed to be solved. With Nathan Brendan Masters and the film Crisis Function, he worked my type 1 diabetes into the storyline. And I love that he worked with me. Lawrence Lee Wallace for Pieces of David, he actually picked out the skin that he wanted to be around my insulin pump and where he wanted my pump placed for the entire filming of the movie. So there, and you know, I've won awards and things like that, and those tell me that what I'm doing is a good thing. Something good is going to come out of this. I refuse to allow anyone to think less of me or see less of me because I am a type 1 diabetic, because I wear an insulin pump and a CGM. You know, I showcase those and I promote them and I wear them as a badge of pride, because everything that I have been through and the fact that I am still here, type 1 diabetes has shown me I have a strength that I probably never would have noticed had I not been given this disease. And because of that, it tells me to keep pushing. It tells me to keep trying, keep making things harder for other people, because the minute I become silent, everything that I'm working for, everything that I'm trying to do, it's nullified. It no longer matters. And that's not what I want to do. I was just asked, is there anything I want to do, like in the acting career, in general, in life? And I'm just like, pretty much everything, you know? Yes, I have type 1 diabetes. Yes, I am a diabetic, but it doesn't mean I can't do everything that I want to do. It's going to take time, and I know that. And it's going to be calculated, and I'm going to have to plan. I'm going to have to work it out, and I know it, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. And I want that to be the message that I send, not just to my fellow type 1s or my fellow diabetics out there, but to the world. Do not sleep on us. We will be some of the hardest working, excuse the language, motherfuckers that you come across, because we work so hard every day just to wake up and live and still be here. So don't sleep on us. Work with us. Bring us in. See what we can do and see what we can bring, because I'm not going to stop. This is my life. My husband asked me, because I have like 1,001 t-shirts and everything. Y'all saw my new blanket and all of that, promoting type 1, being a diabetic, diabetes awareness, T1D strong, all of that. And I was asked, what would happen if there was a cure? And I said, that'll be great, you know? And the one thing that would be great would be to go back and see from my t-shirts and things like that, my previous posts, everything I went through and the strength and the pride I maintained to get to a cure. So, yeah, I'm actually proud to be a type 1 diabetic. If I had to go back in time and change it, I wouldn't, because you wouldn't have the person that you see here. And yes, I know I'm crazy out there, everything, all of that, and I love it and I embrace it, but that's who I am. And I'm hoping that's the example that I can set for everyone else that is living with or battling or going through something. It's going to be hard. Never going to be easy. There are going to be ups and downs. There are going to be some rainbow periods and there are going to be some storms. But as long as you wake up and you're here to fight, and this thing called life is given to you, I say enjoy it and find a way to live with it and find a way to just love it. So that is all from your scandalous type 1 diabetic, aka Ebony Insulin. I'll talk to you guys later.